Hi, Gary Hewitt from Thought Knocks again. And while we're in the process of me talking about me, I would like to point out that I believe I'm what's known as a polymath. There's many names for that, but the intent is I'm comfortable in many different domains. Now, domains is one of those overloaded words that has many different meanings. I'm using it in the context of domain of knowledge. I've studied many things, love psychology, love most of the STEM stuff. I'm reasonably good at understanding mathematics. I'm very bad at implementing them. So it's like I understand the challenge, and weirdly enough, I have this ability to see roughly where the answer is going to be. But when it comes down to the nuts and bolts and the actual counting, that can be somewhat excruciating. But as a coder, I push myself through that routinely. Now it may help to point out that I had severe heavy metal poisoning as a child. I had a pet rock that was made out of mercury, and I played with it quite a bit. Apparently that's a dumb thing to do, and so I had a lot of mental challenges when I was younger. Trying to remember just 4 digits was agonizing, and I thought, like, how the hell do people remember 7-digit phone numbers? It's just mind-boggling. It's because I couldn't hang on to 4 digits to save my life. But that I think that's one of the reasons why I chose such a disciplined domain, is to help build that muscle that allows me to stay focused, and learn to train my brain to deal with that, because it felt like as a child I had almost no short-term memory. Interestingly, I had a very good long-term memory, so if something made it past, say, a few weeks, it was like stuck there for good. To this day, I used to read books quite a bit. Now I listen to them, and at some point I'll point out my bibliography. But if I'm listening to a book a second time, and I happen to be traveling, like on a bus or walking or something, because I tend to do that. It's like I can sense the exact crack in the pavement or the intersection I was on the first time I heard that. There's this weird connection between locality and learning, and that if you read the science on that, that's literally how the brain works. And one of the tricks you can use for improving your memory is when you're trying to remember things, attach them to places, because the brain, the memory mechanisms, I believe it's the hippocampus, is the part that does that. And they're, the taxi cab drivers in London, apparently that portion of the brain is bigger because of how much they have to study and learn. It's all location based in order to get their license to drive a taxi. So interesting stuff there. So I'm fairly fluent in a number of domains. I'm not going to rattle them off. It's more like the ones that I'm not fluent in that would be the smaller list. So I'm just used to that. And as a programmer, I eat domains for breakfast. That's one of the phrases that I use, meaning that I have to suddenly enter an entirely new world and absorb everything about it. And reading was a skill. Like as a kid, I just devoured books. I love science fiction. And that was, when I opened up a new book, Arthur C. Clarke or Asimov, I loved all the sci-fi stuff. And I'd open a new book, and right within the first paragraph, I would completely dissolve into that world. And I don't know how I did it, but I just kind of, sort of pictured the entire world just as I started reading, and it was kind of fascinating. So that was a skill that kind of translated to later on, in that you can't write a line of code until you understand somebody else's domain, because all code is abstractions of things that exist in another domain. So you have to understand other people's challenges, problems, and then translate them to something that would, presumably make their life better, or make their experience better, or make their business better. That's the part that I focus on. So that's, being a polymath is really helpful in being able to absorb all of that really fast, so that we can focus on what needs to happen, or what the challenges are and how they can be solved. Whether they're solved with code or procedure or something else, it doesn't matter. You have to understand something completely in order to be able to do something about it. They say that you can't fear something that you understand, and as somebody somebody put it recently, you can't hate someone up close, which is kind of interesting. That's a strong word to bring into this conversation, but that a big part of what I'm working towards, and I'll get there step by step, is to help bring people together, because the more we communicate, the closer we are, the more we exchange ideas, the more that we can understand somebody else's ideas, and even if we don't agree with them or we don't like them, disconnect that from our feelings about the person. Right? They're still people. They're at their level of evolvement. I was going to say evolution, but that doesn't quite come out right. They're at their level of evolvement, and you're at yours. There's no telling which is which, or where you are on whatever scales. But there's no need. There's no need for us as humans to, we can judge other people's behaviors, but judging other people, I think that's sometimes where we go too far, where we presume things about people that may, probably aren't true, just because of the beliefs that they have and the beliefs that they share. Anyway, whether I'll accomplish anything significant in this area is yet to be determined, but I'm going to try. So that's it. If you have any questions, any topics that you'd like me to address or talk about, I'd be more than happy to attempt to, if I feel that it's somewhat within my wheelhouse. And again, thank you for watching. I appreciate that, and we'll see you in a future video. Thank you.